My fiancée publicly dumped me at my own promotion party for a high-value man. 2 months later, she showed up at my door when she realized he was homeless. I was holding a glass of cheap champagne, smiling like an idiot, while my fiancée, Vanessa, topped her fork against her glass. Clink, clink, clink. The room went quiet. This was supposed to be a celebration. I just landed the biggest client of my career, a deal that was going to put a down payment on the house we'd been talking about for 3 years. All our friends were there, my coworkers, even my parents. I thought she was going to make a toast, say she was proud of me. Instead, she looked around the room, let out a heavy sigh, and looked dead at me with eyes that were cold, just ice cold. "I can't do this anymore," she said. Her voice wasn't loud, but in that silence, it sounded like a gunshot. I laughed nervously. "Babe, what?" She didn't smile. "Stop acting like you're some big shot, Jason. One client doesn't change the fact that you're mediocre. You're always going to be mediocre, and I'm done settling." The air just vanished from the room. My mom gasped. My boss, who was standing right next to me, looked down at his shoes like they were the most interesting things in the world. "Vanessa," I whispered, my face burning so hot I thought I might pass out. "No," she snapped, raising her voice now, "especially here, because I want everyone to know that I'm not tying myself to an anchor anymore. I'm leaving you, Jason, tonight." She dropped her glass on the floor. It didn't break, it just bounced with a dull thud and rolled under the table. Then she turned around, grabbed her coat, and walked out. I didn't scream. I didn't flip a table. I just stood there, frozen, while 40 people stared at me with that awful, pitying look, the kind of look you give a dog that's just been kicked. I quietly set my drink down, apologized to my boss, and walked out the back door. That was the worst night of my life, but looking back, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I spent the next 3 days in a fog. I didn't go to work, I didn't eat, I just sat in my apartment, staring at the empty space on the wall where her "Live, Laugh, Love" sign used to hang. It felt like my life had been stripped for parts. But then, the truth started to trickle in. It started with a Venmo notification. See, Vanessa and I shared a phone plan. I went to log in to remove her line. Petty, maybe, but I was angry. And that's when I saw the data usage logs. For the last 3 months, she had been FaceTiming one number constantly. At 10 a.m., at 2 p.m., at midnight when she told me she was working late on a marketing deck. I didn't recognize the number, so I put it into Cash App. The name popped up immediately. Brendan Sterling. My stomach dropped. Brendan wasn't just some guy. Brendan was the crypto king of our city. He drove a leased Lamborghini, posted videos about hustle culture, and threw parties where the cover charge was more than my rent. We had met him once at a networking event 6 months ago. Vanessa had spent the whole night laughing at his jokes. I felt sick. She left me, the guy building a steady career, for a guy who sold courses on how to get rich quick? But then I dug deeper. I looked at our joint savings account, the house fund. 3 weeks ago, there was a withdrawal, $5,000. The memo just said, "Transfer." I called the bank immediately. "Who authorized this?" I asked, trying to keep my voice from shaking. It was an electronic transfer authorized by Miss Vanessa Tate to an account ending in 4421. I didn't know that account. So I did something I probably shouldn't have. I called my buddy Mark. Mark works in fraud prevention at the same bank. I told him everything. "Dude, I can't give you details, but that account ending in 4421, it's flagged. It's got a negative balance. It belongs to a shell company registered to Brendan Sterling. She gave him our money. She stole $5,000 of our savings to bail out her new boyfriend." The rage finally hit me. It wasn't the hot, explosive anger I expected. It was cold. It was calm. It was clarifying. I didn't call her. I didn't confront Brendan. I went to the landlord. I took my name off the lease since we were month to month and moved my stuff out while she was at work. I took the TV I bought, the couch I paid for, the espresso machine she loved but never cleaned. When she came home to an empty apartment and a lease solely in her name, I was already gone. Fast forward 6 weeks. I was doing okay. I got a new place, closer to work. The client deal went through, and my boss gave me a raise, mostly out of pity initially, but then because I crushed the project. I was hitting the gym, I was sleeping better. Then my phone rang. It was a Saturday night. I was out with friends, actually laughing for the first time in a while. The caller ID said Vanessa. I stared at it. My thumb hovered over the decline button, but curiosity is a dangerous thing. I answered. Hello? Jason? Her voice was small, wobbly, not the confident, arrogant voice that destroyed me at the party. What do you want, Vanessa? I asked, dirtily. I made a mistake. I walked out of the bar to a quiet alley. A mistake? You humiliated me in front of everyone I know. You stole $5,000 from me. That's not a mistake, that's a felony. I didn't steal it, she cried. It was an investment. Brendan said he'd double it in a week. He said we were going to use it for our trip to Bali. Let me guess, I said, leaning against the brick wall. There was no trip to Bali. Silence. Then sobbing. He's broke, Jason. He's a fraud. They repossessed the Lambo yesterday. He asked me to take out a loan in my name to pay his rent. When I said no, he kicked me out. I have nowhere to go. My parents won't talk to me after what I did to you. Please, I missed you. I miss us. I looked up at the sky. It was a clear night. I took a deep breath, letting the cold air fill my lungs. I remembered the look in her eyes at the party. Mediocre. Vanessa, I said softly. Yes, she sounded hopeful. I can come over? We can just talk? Do you remember what you said to me? You said you were done settling. I didn't mean it. I was just... No, I cut her off. You were right. You shouldn't settle, and neither should I. Jason, please, I have no money. I'm at a gas station. I don't... You're smart, I said. You'll figure it out. Goodbye, Vanessa. I hung up. I blocked the number. Then I went back inside the bar, ordered a round for my friends, and I never looked back.